Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Everybody should know that's how love goes. It's good for the soul. Oh, I got a long way to go, but it won't stop the pain. No, that's the kind of thing that keeps me coming back again and again. Till I see your face, I won't be satisfied. No, I won't stop. I won't quit until I'm yours and you're mine. I can't live my life for nobody else but me. Everybody else trying to tell me what to do. I live without me. And that's the way that love goes. That's the way it goes. It's good for the soul. Everybody should know that's how love goes. It's good for the soul. Everybody should know that's how love goes. It's good for the soul.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome. You're tuning in live to the Healthy Soul Talk Show with your girl, your favorite therapist, Dr. Kimberly Thomas. I'm trying to be on time. Yes, I am. So welcome. Blog Talk Radio. I should get organized, shouldn't I? If you're tuning in live on Blog Talk Radio, welcome. If you want to call into the show, you can dial 323-870-4375. Again, that's 323-870-4375. Press 1 to join. And, of course, you can follow us on all social media platforms at Healthy Soul Talk. And if you want to email the show, you can email us at hst@ttlomedia.net. Again, that's hst@ttlomedia.net. Again, welcome. You're tuning in live to the Healthy Soul Talk Show with your girl, your favorite therapist, Dr. Kimberly Thomas. It's a great evening. Saw a little rain trying to come in, but it cleared right on up. And so, I'm always thankful when it rains because, I get to, it waters my garden. But obviously I'll have to tend to that when I get back home. But I'm excited about that. It's going very well. And I hope all my fellow, gardeners, my fellow gardeners, if that's a word, how y'all doing with the gardens and how's it growing and going? I love to talk about that as a show, but I think I'll probably bore my producers to death with that one. Yeah. So you think we could do a show on gardening? Would you join us on that topic?
Gardening?
Yes.
How is that? If you tell me how it's relevant, I'm down.
Oh, okay.
It's your show, but I'm just saying. But you tell me how it's relevant to what it is.
I have to sell it to you.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
Oh Lord. All right.
I'm just saying. Tell me how it's.
I'm going to be creative with it. Okay.
Okay.
With your hands in the dirt, right? That's very therapeutic.
In the soil.
In the dirt, yes. We call it soil too. But,
I'm just saying, down in the
with the worms and the bugs and enjoying nature and earth.
Okay. All right.
That God created that too.
Well, I didn't say he didn't. I'm with you. If it works, it works. If it works, it works.
Oh my goodness, really? Okay. Okay then. How y'all doing today, my favorite producers?
I'm excellent. I'm doing good.
I'm well.
You well? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we did we walked 5 miles, 5.4 miles yesterday.
Oh, come on. Yes.
5.4 miles.
Very good.
Yeah.
Did you track calories or all that good stuff, or just the
Oh,
mouth?
I think it tracked it all.
It did track. It's
I can go back and look. Go
yours
ahead.
said like 1,070.
Oh, come on, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Maybe like total steps 16,
Yeah.
17,000 steps.
That was so romantic too, wasn't it? Okay, then.
It was all right.
Really? I didn't know it was supposed to be romantic. I only burned 920.
That's good.
Is what mine says.
Last time I looked at maybe it was mine.
That was probably yours.
Mine
Okay.
said
Because you had more
1,060.
steps. Because you had to step a little longer than I.
But you had more miles. Did you see that?
I know it's weird, right?
I had
7.3.
7.2.
I had 7.3.
okay.
And he had 8.
7.3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So you all gonna continue to do that?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yes.
We walked the. You ever heard of the 606 trail?
No, where's that?
It's
Starts at Ridgeway.
Which way?
what side of town is that? Logan Square, Humboldt Park. Humboldt Park.
Oh,
Humboldt
okay.
Park.
It starts at Humboldt Park and goes all the way to Wicker Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Very
Yeah.
good.
So it's 2.7 both ways. 2.7, 2.7.
2.7. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Nice sightseeing, all that.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. All right. Welcome everybody. Good evening, Dr. Brown. How are you? So y'all ready to jump on in here?
Hey, we following you. What you got?
Okay. So we always open the show with whatever mood I'm in.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I want to know what mood you was in for this one. I just be
We always start the top of the show with spiritual connect point. And this one I was just I don't know if I wouldn't say I was frustrated. I think I was just deep in thought about how God speaks to us, right? In whatever form that is. But I always wonder, and maybe this is the place I'm in discernment, if you will, as to we've been talking about self and just taking care of self and this journey of life. And one term that came to my mind this week was what I've always heard for years now is delay does not always mean denial. And that was just left at that, right? It was just that term, right? And it came in various ways, right? And you hear people say it, randomly, right? In sermons or, conferences. You hear it everywhere. And so what really came to me was just trying I asked myself that question how am I supposed to know which one is which, right? Like, okay, God, if delay does not mean denial, then how do I even know it's a delay? And how do I even know it's a denial, right? And so that was my question. So I put these two together because when I said it, I was like, does that even... I didn't want to sound sarcastic, if that makes sense. But I was really pondering this question, right? And so I came up with, how do you know when a delay is not a denial, right? And when a delay is a denial. And this was what I asked myself, and I could not answer it to sufficient, where I felt like I'm there.
You
right?
asked yourself, but you didn't like the answer that you gave yourself.
I didn't even really have an answer.
Okay.
Right? Because in that particular form, right? Okay, so number one, who defines delay? Right? I feel, and this is just me speaking, right? When I've heard that term, I've come to realize that I'm defining delay, right? Because I would say, hey, I feel like God is not answering me, right? When I need him to, meaning, when I expect, or I may have this, time frame, right? So I would actually say it's a delay, right? If we're saying this term, delay does not mean denial. But in that delay, right? At what point do I know that it's something that God doesn't want me to have? Right? But also, who defined it as being denied? Right? You understand what I'm saying? And so I guess for me, I know there are others out there who say when you hear this phrase, because I've also felt like with that term, I've waited in anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so waiting in anticipation for something that maybe God has already said that's not for me to begin with, right? Or it's just not, it's a not right now, right? And in the terms of it still may not look that way, right? What I'm specifically asking for. And I think that's kind of where when I say I didn't answer it sufficiently for myself, I said I know there are others out there who sit with this phrase and have waited in anticipation, right? And felt disappointed. And I'll just be, go there where we looked at it as I waited all this time to hear a no. Right? Only to miss what he actually blessed me with. Only to miss, right, the essence of what he said. No, it doesn't look like that, right? But this is what I need you to focus on. Right? And so I had to learn that though, right? I had to grow in my spiritual walk. I had to learn that there's more to the concept of delay does not mean denial.
Okay.
Right? And we need to understand what a denial is and actually what is a delay.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because those are negative terms to me.
Okay.
Those are negative terms. And so I sat with that. And that's why I posed it in 2 questions.
So,
and I probably sound like I just rambled on.
No.
But,
No. It's no. Your questioning was valid because we've used that. First of all, let's be clear. Delayed but not denied. The actual quote is not a scripture.
Correct.
Okay, let's.
And that's why I didn't give you none.
No, it's fine. Because unfortunately you have people who will say the Bible says delayed but not denied, and that ain't what the Bible say. But I will give you a scripture or two.
All right, come on.
Turn with me if you will.
You know I write these scriptures down, don't you? Okay, then.
Turn with me if you will to the book of Isaiah. Let me say it like the old people. Isaiah.
Would that be Ezekiel?
No,
or
Isaiah. But Isaiah. Turn with me to the book of Isaiah, somewhere around the 46th chapter. Around the 13th verse.
All right.
And it simply says, I'm bringing my righteousness near. It is not far away, and my salvation will not be delayed. I will grant salvation to Zion, my splendor to Israel. Can we go? I'll give you one more.
Come on.
Habakkuk 2 and 3. Habakkuk 2 and 3 says, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. Okay. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Okay. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Last one, Hebrews 10:37 says, for in just a little while, he is coming. He who is coming will come and will not delay. So, I gave you some scripture. Now I'm going to make it real plain for you.
Okay.
I called Dr. Thomas. Say, Dr. Thomas, I got something you say you said you had been looking for an opportunity to interview somebody.
Okay.
And I said, Dr. Thomas, he said he coming. And you go, great. All right. But you never get nothing else. So sometimes we can, because it doesn't come in our time.
Yeah.
We feel like we've been denied.
Yes.
Because it doesn't happen when we were ready for it to happen. But God does not won't give us things prior to us being, he's not going to bless us with anything that we are not prepared to handle. Because those blessings can turn into curses.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because if I know you can't handle somebody giving you $250,000 in cash, and I know because of your history, because of your recklessness, that me giving you $250 right now is probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you still can't get to 250.
Right.
It just means that today I don't need to deposit that into your account.
Yeah.
All right. So we have to be careful. And then let's just talk about the language, delay and deny. They two separate words, two separate meanings. Right? Deny just means no.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Deny just means no. Right? Deny simply means not no. Delay says it's on the way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We've all had to learn this in the last few 18 months we've been under restrictions that everything was on delay. Right now people can't get computer chips. They can't get stuff for their cars. They can't get, you still can't get a doggone PS5 because the chips are not without. Everything is on what we call back order. So it doesn't mean you can't get it. It just means you can't get it today.
Right.
Now let's move it a little bit closer to home as far as career movements and change and stuff like that. You can say, hey, you know what? I went to school. I've done all the things that I was supposed to do on the educational side. Now, God, where is my promotion? Right? So where is my promotion? I took the time to go to school. I did all the papers. I did all the writing. I did all these things. Where is my promotion? And then it's easy to say delayed but not denied. Well, it could also be that God did not. Here's the deal. If God didn't call you for it, then it ain't a delay. It's just a no.
Right. And is it, and this is me way out there.
Go ahead.
Like, is it a no or is it your infatuation?
Say that again.
Meaning, so you know, we all have desires.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And not all what we desire lines up with the will that he has for us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So in my mind, if I'm constantly asking for something out of my own will.
Right.
Right?
Right.
How can I classify it as God saying no or denying it for me when it wasn't even in consideration? Right. So I feel like, because for me that's an emotional roller coaster, right?
Okay.
Because that for me that can jeopardize my relationship with God if I feel like he's always denying me.
Okay.
Right? But if I'm always asking for something that I know is not good for me, right? Or that I'm seeking something that he's clearly giving me revelation for, right? That's not my path right now. For me, it's more of how do I continue to say God is denying me when it's just not for me to begin with, right? It's almost like you keep asking your parent for something, right? Where they've said it doesn't fit what we're doing, you know.
Right.
That's not what we do in this family.
But most often, though, when you use the key word, what's in your will.
Yes.
Most often, when God gives us His promise, He doesn't give any specific time.
Yes.
Right.
Correct. Yes.
And I believe that's done to build our patience and trust for Him and in Him.
Okay.
The moment He gave the promise, He knew it would be fulfilled.
Right.
Right. The moment God gave the promise, He knew it would be fulfilled. But the challenge is often that we assume a time that the promise should be fulfilled. We assume, okay, I've from the fleshly side, it looks like we're ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, when we say delayed, not denied, or we get this disappointed feeling, we feel like God didn't answer our prayers. You have to put yourself in the situation and look at the factors of the areas where you say it was either delayed or denied. Look at who went on ahead of you and did what they did, and where are they?
Yes.
Where are they?
Yes.
So I'll give you a good example, and I'll use me because I thought about this because this was kind of personal. So when I have, since in my small ministerial journey, right? It's been about a little over maybe 10 years, about to be 10 years, I think, somewhere up in there, right?
Yeah.
And in that 10 years time, I have applied for 2 pastoral positions.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
The first one, it seemed like it was a shoe-in.
Okay.
right? That's what that was what it looked like on paper.
Okay.
Right? On paper, background, history, knowledge of the place, everything seemed like, this is it, God. I've set this up. I was still in school at the time, working on my doctorate degree. So it was like everything is like, I got all the other paperwork, but everything else there. So it's like, this is like perfect. And it didn't happen.
Okay.
And the first thing people said, I had one person said something to me at the day of the election. I still say it was the stupidest statement in the history of all the world. You didn't really want it anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, somebody said that to me, one of the church members.
Wow.
You didn't really want it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it took a lot for me not to respond to that with ignorance. But anyway, so it didn't happen, but I got a lot of the delayed, not denied.
Okay.
But then because that opportunity did not happen, I ended up where I am now.
Okay.
All right. So then that opportunity presented itself, and I prayed about it, and I said, let me put my hat in the ring one more time.
Okay.
Right. And on paper, again, looked great on paper. Now this time the denial was different because it came at the very beginning. Like, you won't even be given an interview. Right?
Got it.
Okay. Fine. But then I look at both circumstances, and I look at the state of both areas.
Okay.
The financial issues.
Okay.
The building issues.
Yeah.
The property issues. Leadership issues. All that stuff. It's crazy as hell. And I would have been the one. Come on now, I'm just talking for real. I would have been the one who would have been having to deal with all of that.
Yes.
And maybe at the time given, God's, and if I'm going to go with the delayed route, God is saying, I don't want you in that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
God is saying, I don't want you in that right now.
Yes.
God is saying, when I call you, it's going to be, the table is going to be set, and all you got to do is step in.
Right.
I don't need you in these battles about the color of the bathroom, or who gonna be in what office, or where's this gonna be, and can I get a raise, and can we do this, and can we do that, or the building is falling apart. God says, what I've called you for, it can't be about that. So I'm gonna keep you over here. Now that's my belief.
Yeah.
Now, if I was to take it a step further and just say denied, then that's a different conversation.
Right.
But when you believe God, when you, not my will, when you, because here's the thing, it's not a desire that I ever wanted. Right?
Yeah.
So when you get to a place where where people are come on now. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Brown. When you get to a place where people are saying, you should, because even in my secular professional world, it's like, you're walking around now with a full-fledged doctorate degree. Why aren't you doing something else in school versus what you're doing?
Right.
Why aren't you doing this? Why don't you go work at a university? Because that's normally what happens when people get doctorate degrees. They, the whole purpose, they want to go teach somewhere. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so, but when you come to a place where you have resigned yourself to let God make all the preparations. Right? So I have come to a place, and I think I told this to LaTanya the other day, and I may have said it to some other people. I'm never going to put my name in the ring for anything.
Okay.
If and when that time comes, God, they will know where I am. I will be in the place at the appointed time, and they will call me. Yeah. Right? I'm not going to have to go through no process. I ain't going to have to sit up and go through no question and answer session about some people that couldn't spell Bible if you gave them all the letters in order. What? So I am at that place with it. So delayed versus denial, I think we need to be careful that we don't, whether you agree with God's way or not, he makes the rules. Right? So it's better to line up with him instead of fighting against his plan, because the worst thing you can do is to go and say, well, if we want to talk about delayed but not denied, the most blaring example of that in the Bible and shows you how we get in trouble is Abraham and Sarah. I wish I had some help. See, Abraham and Sarah, God said, Abraham, I'm going to make your name great and your seed and everything else. And he said that, and I'm going to bless you with this, and generations will come from you. And Abraham's like, I ain't even got no kids. God and Sarah, let me say the Dana version, and Sarah is old as hell. She ain't making no babies.
What?
Huh? Ain't nothing coming out of there. That's dried up, Lord.
You didn't have to say it like that.
Huh? I got to keep it. I'm giving y'all the
say
real. I'm
it
giving you the
like
real.
that.
Sarah wasn't nothing coming up out of that but dust. And she knew it because she hadn't had no kids. Clearly, when she said, I ain't gonna never have no kids, and clearly Abraham was trying and they still wasn't having them, so it wasn't going, so they didn't think it was gonna happen. So when the angel came to her and she laughed about it, right? So then because the time had passed for so long, now all of a sudden here comes Sarah saying, well, you know what? I'm going to help God out because I'm going to help God keep his promise.
She did.
So come on in here, hey guy, with your fine self. With your not dry area. Come on in here. Huh?
God.
I'm going to say what I got to say. Come on in here with yourself and come on in here because we're going to make this, we're going to make God's promise come true because God need our help. The one who made us need us to help him make another us. Just think about that for a minute. So when you get to that point, then all of a sudden, and even now, so the consequences of that.
Yeah.
Fast forward 2,000, almost 2,500 years later, 3,000 years later, actually, you fast forward all that time, Israel is still fighting Palestine. Because Palestine is Israel was Isaac's people, and Palestine is, what's the boy's name? The illegitimate child. Help me out. The one that they had that they weren't supposed to have. Somebody help me, Lord. My brain ain't functioning right now. I wish I had some help. What's his?
I know we know.
You know
the
what I'm talking
story.
about?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't think of his name right now. It escapes my whole brain right now.
Not the whole brain.
Right. God does not delay, and he cannot be delayed. Come on now, Dr. Brown. Come on. It comes when he said, he told you it was coming. Now watch this. Now, if God said these words to you, Dr. Thomas, it's coming at 12 o'clock on Friday, the 23rd p.m. It ain't going to show up at 11:59. It ain't going to show up at 12:01. It's coming at 12 o'clock. But if God said it's coming, then your job is to stay ready.
Yes.
And our jobs are to stay ready.
Yes.
See, I can't say God called me to pastor and then I do everything in my power to not be ready when the call comes. Yeah. So if God is calling you to a higher place, then your job is to stay ready and stay prepared for that calling. It's just like the athlete who does not get drafted on draft night. He stays ready for the call. So then he ends up on maybe the practice squad. But when you're on the practice squad, you have to what? Stay ready for the call. Because, you didn't get drafted number one. They didn't call your name on draft night. You just made the practice squad. They only giving you $100,000 a year just to be the practice dummy for the team. Right. But then all of a sudden, when the number one running back goes down, they call your number. Are you going to be sitting back mad and angry because and pouting and not practicing and not prepared, and now they call your name and now it's your turn to get in, but you have not been reading your playbook, the Bible. Let me help y'all. You have not been reading your playbook. You have not been reading the instructions. You have not been keeping up with what's going on. So now it's time for you to get your behind in the game, and you know nothing. So now they believe they've made a mistake with you because you weren't ready. God said, no, I called you, stay ready. You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I wish I had somebody to help me in here today.
Preach up.
We've lost video.
We did what?
What we do? Video.
What happened?
It's still live. Everybody can hear you.
Okay, you stay there now. Stay there, y'all. Okay.
So it's one of those things where we have to be careful. We got to be very careful not to get caught up in the denial piece.
And
because God's knows are clear. clearer than than what we believe to be delays.
Yes, and that's the key, right? Is that we made this, right? We coined this term, and it has to be put in perspective, right? That there. I like Dr. Brown's comment here. God does not delay. He cannot be delayed. He sets an appointed time and teaches us patience, right? While he places his plan in order for our lives. That has to be the takeaway, right? Because we hear that so often that we've made it a spiritual. We made it a spiritual. We almost made it like a scripture, right? If that makes sense. And so
we did.
Some of us have lived by this. I'm going to say scripture because it's almost like when you know better, you do better. And so that's what I had to grow out of, right? I had to grow out of that term, meaning that I'm actually telling God that he's delayed.
Okay.
Right? I'm actually having conversation, right? In my time with God that, I know you denied me. This hurts. And, I don't understand why, you won't let me have this. When in fact, it's like, I need to be thanking God, right? For preparing me.
Yeah.
Right? I need to be thanking God that he has this timing on my life and to give me a spirit of discernment. Right? To continue to live this life according to how he needs me to live versus saying my life is on pause. Because I feel like that's kind of what we treated it as, right? As this biblical sense of there's a period in our life where we're going to be put on pause. And, that doesn't mean that God is saying yes or no, right? It's almost like this mental thing we go through. And it's like a roller coaster.
When God says yes, that process already starts.
Correct. But we missed that, though, right?
The minute he says yes, Reverend James Meeks said it live. I heard him preach this years ago when I used to really watch his service back on when he used to have his Wednesday night services. And he was talking about, he just used an illustration. He said, imagine you praying to God for something and God says yes. And so he releases the one angel with your blessing, with what you prayed for. But in the process of that angel on his way to you, you start doing all this other stuff that ain't got nothing to do with God. So then this is the way I love his illustration. Then he says, so then what Satan does is Satan recognizes that you got some promises coming. So Satan says, I'm going to send my angel. So now your promise has to now fight through all this other mess you have released. Wow. Right? So if we go back to Abraham and Sarah and Isaac and Ishmael, that's his name, Holy Ghost, come on, Ishmael. So when Ishmael came, they thought he was the promise because that's the way that because they was like it was going to be your son. Yeah. But God says it's going to be your son from Sarah, not your son from the side piece.
Surrogate.
Side piece. Huh? Even though your wife picked her out, the side that ain't what you know. So now watch this. Now Abraham, you got a whole new problem because the side piece say, well, my son is the promise. Give us our stuff.
Yeah. Now.
Right. Huh? Now all of a sudden the side piece done called child support. I wish I had some help. Now the side piece saying, look here, I heard you got the promises coming.
Oh my goodness.
So run it.
25%.
Come on, run it. Promises of God, you got it, run it.
It's the first baby.
Right, and he was the first baby.
And I filed first.
And I don't care, right, and I don't care that she your way. He the exactly. Because it was, watch this, it was still some time before Isaac came. There was still some time. So we have to be careful because watch this. People can know what we have prayed about, right?
Yes.
And then what you don't ever want, oh God help me, is for people to manipulate the circumstances because they think they're helping you get where you want to be.
Wow.
But God has not created the place and the space yet.
Yes.
And then what God will do is, like Sarah and Ishmael and Hagar, he will allow, because we have free will, he will allow this thing to happen. Right?
Yes.
And so then now You got to deal with the problem you created and the thing you prayed for. Because God ain't going to just move the other thing out the way for you. Because you did that. So we have to, we need to get out of that. And thank you, Dr. Brown, for that comment. There is no delay from God. He said yes, then you do what you're doing. If God says I'm calling you to pastor, and you're an associate member you're an associate preacher at a church with 12 members, and God said I called you to pastor, you keep being the associate minister and preaching and teaching God's word to them 12 members.
Yeah.
Come on now, Dr. Brown says it's a question of maturity and being true to yourself. You know it's from God, and you know when it's not. Exactly. Right? Because if I had followed what folk had said, I preached my first sermon. I preached in what we call Horton Hall at my old church.
Okay,
that was my first sermon. The first sermon I preached upstairs in the sanctuary, in what they call in the big house, in the big room, was I preached. And one of the associate ministers that I was on staff with said, "Boy, shoot, you might well go and start your own church." Now, had I followed that foolishness, I'd probably be locked up or crazy right now.
Wow.
Crazier.
Wow.
Yeah. Captain, send-off. Great send-off mission. Exactly. That's what it would have been. So there we go. Okay. So delay. So if I was going to wrap up delay and denial, I would tell people, keep praying in faith according to the word of God.
Yes.
And a delay in our eyes, even if it's a very long one, does not mean that God said no to your request. It just means it's coming in God's time.
And it may not even apply.
So we have to learn how to persevere.
Yeah, toss it.
Persevere in prayer.
Yes.
Persevere in prayer. That's what I leave you with.
I like that. Well, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
This has been your spiritual connect point. Thank you. I'm going to record that.
So now, wait a minute. I'm trying to even figure out how to go into this next one.
Yeah, because
this is so not.
Did you know? Oh, Lord.
This is so not. Spiritual. All right, but it's for us to lighten up. Dr. Brown says even Sarah knew what was not of God. What she was doing was not of God. In Genesis 16:2, she said, "Go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children."
Right. Go in there and lay with her. And then we're going to take her baby.
I think that's where that phrase, though, sends us to some actions that we make hard for us. Does that mean that's where I was with that? Was like that phrase has really sent us off in a sense of us not, if you're not spiritually mature, right, like you all are saying here, we won't grasp the concept of like, how do we apply it? What are we assessing, right? To say, okay, am I adhering to what God is trying to tell me? The patience I need. Am I still preparing? Right? I think we just have not applied that process.
So God says, I'm going to bless you with, I'm going to make sure you have all the resources you need.
Yes.
For what you're going to do next.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the world goes to hell.
Yes.
And the world starts giving out PPP money. And then you go and apply for your illegal PPP money because you ain't got nothing yet. But you apply and you get it and you say, this is how I'm going to start my said business. This is what this is. So God gave. Our non-mature minds say God sent a plague.
Go steal.
Come on now. God sent a whole plague to the whole wide world, not just the United States, to the whole wide world, so I could come up on 30K. How many million people died so I could come up on 30K because this is the Lord's blessing for me? Really?
You just made some folk feel
I
really
know
bad.
we're good for you. May the Lord watch.
Oh my God. Thank y'all. Good evening. To God be the glory. Pitts. Welcome, Felicia. That is hilarious. Yeah. Y'all keep it going. All right, here we go. Welcome. You're tuning in live to the Healthy Soul Talk Show with your girl, your favorite therapist, Dr. Kimberly Thomas. Just got done with our spiritual connect point here. And if you do us a favor, like, share, love this, give us some feedback. Your comments are amazing. so far. And of course, if you want to call in, we're about to have this discussion. It's going to be real interactive this evening. You can dial in at 323-870-4375. Press 1 to join. Well, I tried to come up, but then, oh, see what? Really? No, now you can't get, no. You gotta stay right. Stay righteous, right? Stay righteous. All right, here we go. So, next session, y'all. Because I know we got to dive into the topic. We try to be a little light. I kind of was doing some serious did you knows, trying to go to the top, but this one is like way off in left field. But we gonna, I'm gonna swing it back to, humans, right? Y'all ready?
Dr. Charles is funny.
Yeah, he said he was denied PPP. Really?
But Felicia said the Bible says he will pour out a blessing.
All right, here we go, y'all. Did y'all know, if we gonna be quick here, did you know that turkeys can blush? The animal, turkeys can blush. And I'm gonna read this because I thought about this, right? Our spouses. When a turkey becomes frightened, agitated, excited, or ill, the exposed skin on its head and neck can change from its usual pale pink or bluish gray color to red, white, or blue. When it is mating season, male turkeys become more colorful. They have a flap of skin under their chin, and it turns bright red. All right. They also have a flap of skin hanging there called the snood. Okay. This, along with their wattle, do become engorged and swollen when they are sexually excited. Both male and female turkeys have wattles and caruncles, but in males, these are larger and more colorful. Here is my point. Studies have shown that in turkeys, size does matter. That is, females prefer males with longer and larger snoods. Also, males with larger and bigger snoods are actually healthier.
Ambiguous.
Snood. So if you have a husband and God bless him, he's not thin, right? Just tell the Lord thank you. Right?
I will hope that it's not ambiguous. I'm gonna hope.
Right? Because even the female turkeys, right, prefer male turkeys that have larger, snoods. And the larger and bigger they are, they're actually more healthier. Tell the Lord, thank you for the thickness. Thank you.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, I don't think it's been that way. Well, oh, Lord. For the thickness.
Come on, Felicia, testify.
Did she just,
right?
She prayed for girth.
Listen. Elder King, did you want to say something?
No.
He said, come on here, Big Zaddy.
Right? Come on now. There we go.
Yeah, praise God.
Praise God.
I don't see that in too many prayers.
Wow.
There we go. Right? Be thankful for what the Lord has blessed you with.
Wow. Okay.
That ain't for the touch.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna stay.
What?
I'm gonna stay around yonder.
Really?
I'm gonna let y'all. What?
Really?
I mean, you talking about turkeys, right? And God bless them. We want a thick turkey on Thanksgiving. That's all I got for you.
That 2-year thing.
Alicia is gone.
Will bless you. He will give you double for your trouble. Come on now. Yes.
I cannot. I'm not.
In the name of the Father.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Really? Really? Like,
All right, y'all. I just thought that was
y'all real tickled. Y'all
Listen,
real tickled.
listen. This is a season to be thankful, and why not be thankful for that?
Okay, she must have came into something.
Man, I mean, you know, it sounds like somebody had to come up. I mean, I ain't trying to say nothing, but that's what it sounds like.
Let me tell you something.
Huh?
No, I thought about this because I was actually reading some posts where it was basically saying, you know, hey, wives, right? Stop complaining about headaches you do and this and that to avoid being intimate, like literally having sex, you know, with their husbands. And I thought about that because it was like, okay, you know, in this particular, you know, aspect here, there are so many married couples who struggle with sex. And I'm not talking about, you know, intimacy. I'm talking literally about sex and the frequency and, you know, enjoying it and the excuses, right, that are made to habitually deny, right, and reject, right, having sex. So I that's where I was going with that was, you know, hey, try to focus on the good, you know.
On the good.
On the goods, right?
Y'all just, all right.
To help you out a little bit. Because
well,
there may be some other female turkeys out there, right?
Jive turkey.
Huh? Looking at those snoods.
All right.
So you know, keep your snoods happy. At the crib, at the house.
I'm glad I ain't got no camera. I'm glad I
Snooze. Why your camera?
That's what
You
said.
didn't
Do
set
not
yours
turn
up, huh?
anything down but your collar. They say you're not supposed to deny. They said not even in the argument. They said you can go back to being mad.
You know what? And I know, you know, well, later on, probably in October during Domestic Violence Month, we'll talk about, you know, more about sexual abuse, you know, in relationships, right? But I'm just seeing that a lot, right, as it relates to the denial of or the reasoning of or just the whole you get it when I give it to you, you know, concept. And it's used pretty frequently, right? That particular rule, right? You get it when I give it to you.
This ain't Ethiopia. You ain't gonna ration out no sex. I'm sorry, my bad. I'm done.
I put it like this, right? You don't want to starve the snood, huh?
Really? Y'all is just having y'all having a whole good time today, huh?
Oh my God! Hey, what's up? I'm not gonna say your government name, P Black. What's going on? How are you? Felicia says, any mean woman, I know what her problem is. She needs vitamin D.
And you read it out loud. And you just had to read it out loud. You didn't read it before you read it. Huh?
She said vitamin D. that increases serotonin. There we go.
You real tickled though. Y'all is just real tickled.
Oh Lord, you know we gonna move because Dr. Brown says sexual abuse is when she rations the booty.
See, y'all open the door.
And Dr. Charles said, I'm coming on in.
Y'all open the door.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh
Dr.
my
Charles here.
goodness. Okay.
All right, y'all. There we go. All right.
Oh Jesus.
Beautiful.
Okay, I'm gonna get it. Let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. Here we go, y'all. So that was the Did You Know? I hope we learned something. And somebody have a great evening. All right, let's move on, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I ain't saying nothing. I'm trying to help y'all out.
We know you to say something now.
I said what I was gonna say.
Listen.
All right, y'all, let's get to it because we got work to do. All right, we have some work to do. We're talking about All About Self series, and thank you all for tuning in here. This week, we're talking about mental cleanse and emotional detox, right? What is a mental cleanse and an emotional detox. So if you will, I'd like to dive into some action steps, right, this evening, and defining and helping all of us out for something we need to do regularly based on our lifestyles, right? So I'm not sure if you're familiar with this term. If you could just start typing in, what that definition means to you. What is a mental cleanse and an emotional detox, as we dive into how do you actually create that plan of action. Have you all ever heard of that? A mental cleanse and an emotional detox. I know generally we have the physical, right? Liver detox and, colon cleanses and all that good stuff. You all familiar with these processes here?
No, I'm not.
No. Okay. Good stuff. It's something we rarely talk about, or we've kind of put on the forefront. I dare not say in the past 5 to 10 years, we've pushed, right, making mental wellness a priority. And so we've just kind of paralleled some of the things that we do for our physical health, now applying it to our mental and emotional health, right? So we dive in here saying that, okay, first of all, one of the things we know about our body is it's always working, right, in some capacity, right? All senses of the body are always working, right? Taste, hear, see, touch, right? Just in understanding that, because our bodies are always so can we post that call-in number?
It's posted. She should know about hard. Did they Felicia call in without us posting up the number?
Yep, 323-870-4375. Come on, Felicia, 323-870-4375. And so looking at, because our bodies are always working in some capacity, we must, right, apply some of these principles we do on the physical side for our health to our mental and emotional wellness. And so what is a mental cleanse, right? And a mental cleanse is a process. It's a plan of action to clear the mind to achieve better focus and balance in your life, right? It's a plan of action. It's a process to clear the mind, right, to achieve better focus and balance in your life. It can be a short-term action plan, or it can be an ongoing practice, right? And it includes activities where one can take a break. It ranges from taking a break from day-to-day stressors, anxiety, and distractions, right, to diving into taking breaks from electronic devices and toxic interactions, right? So when you think about a mental cleanse, this is literally protecting or cutting off, right? Cutting off things for a prolonged period of time so you can achieve, right, mental clarity, for you to achieve, right, better focus and balance in your life. Got it? All right. So that is the mental, right? A mental cleanse is, and I give you the thought of that person who says, lately it's been hard to concentrate at work. I noticed that when people are talking to me, my thoughts seem to shift, right? Or I'm not fully present, right? You could be right in front of me speaking, and I'm just, I'm in my own thoughts, right? You feel like you're mentally overwhelmed, right? Some people experience insomnia because when they close their eyes at night, literally the brain goes into overdrive, right, of thinking. And these are things that are going on in their life, and they're trying to process and needing some type of change to happen. And so this is where we say you must go through a mental cleanse. I like to call it to achieve mental capacity, right? Meaning there's some cognitive, right, space that needs to be given, that needs to be achieved, that needs to be there, right, for you to continue to have a well-balanced life so that you can enjoy your present, right, and ultimately that's leading to a productive and successful future. So we got to clear out, right? We literally have to clear out the mental clutter, and this is a process, right? It actually takes a plan of action to clear out, right, people, places, and things that contribute to stress, anxiety, and distraction. Got it? All right. So now let's look at emotional detox, okay? Emotional detox is a process that clears the body of stagnated or lingering unwanted negative emotions. Right? It's a process that clears the body of stagnated and lingering unwanted negative emotions. Again, this is an action plan, right? This requires preparation. What are those emotions? I know you all probably can't see this, but I have a lot of feeling words list, right? And what I like to do is, this is for myself, right? I go through and I say, okay, self, you know, you're feeling overwhelmed. You feel short, patient, right? You feel irritated. It's kind of, you know, something's going on. I need to figure out, right, what's going on with me. And I go through this list and I select the feelings and emotions that I currently feel, right? Because sometimes you're beyond sad, right? Sometimes, right, you're beyond a fear. We need to name, right, how it actually makes us feel, right? So if you have a fear, are you panicking? Are you horrified, right? Are you living in shock? Do you feel desperate, right? When you identify the emotions that you truly feel, therein lies the plan of action to detox, right? Because it feels like you're stifled, right? You ever heard somebody say, you know, I feel like I'm stifling, right? With emotion, I'm just stricken, right? With all these emotions, and sometimes you can't even name those emotions. So it helps to have a feeling words list to help you identify, what do I truly feel? What are these lingering, right, unwanted emotions that I continue to have? What am I stuck with? Right? And so therein lies, once you identify that I have some emotions that I just can't shake off, right? That just they interfere with my life. It's time for an emotional detox. Yeah. Got it? So mental cleanse and emotional detox. Now you may say, what's the difference between the terms? Right? So when you think about a cleanse, right, that's kind of immediate. You know, so when I think about a mental cleanse, that is you immediately removing yourself from the stressor, right? You're removing yourself from that person, place, or thing to achieve some clarity, to achieve some balance. Does that make sense? So that cleanse is almost like a purging of. It's immediate, right? It's a short-term change. Right, meaning I need to remove myself out of this situation because this is an urgent situation for me to obtain some mental relief. Got it? Detoxification is a long-term plan of action, and it requires a lifestyle change. Does that make sense? So thinking about, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to continue doing to ensure I stay emotionally well, where I don't get stagnated and have these unwanted, lingering, negative emotions that cause me pain, that cause me setback, that cause me, right, a way of functioning in dysfunction. Does that make sense? So that's the reason for the two terms here, right? Mental cleanse is more of that immediate short-term change, what you need to do right now to get some relief. Emotional detox is ongoing, right? It's a long-term thing. It's a lifestyle change to ensure that you're always protecting your emotional state of being. Yeah. Right? But this requires a plan of action. Right? This is where you establish, I need a plan for my life, period, right? So here's where the action comes in. Okay? And if you're a therapist out there, you can see that I'm cognitive behavioral therapy here, right? That's my foundation. So we do homework and work. In case you haven't noticed, for the past month, right, we've been doing some assignments here. Okay, so it starts with the mind. It starts with how you feel, how you think, right, and leading to your next steps, your actions. Got it? You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Now, first thing I need you to do is get a pen and paper, right? Because we have to prepare for a cleanse and a detox. You know, I shouldn't ask that, but you know what's needed to do colon cleanse, right?
Yep.
You want your colon cleansed? Cleanse my colon.
Don't do it. Then.
Okay.
So whether you go to a facility to get it, what's that? Is it colonoscopy? Did I say that right? Okay. They prep you to do that, right? You have to drink this solution. You can't eat after a certain time, right? And your colon needs to be clear by the time they go and do that test, right? That examination.
Colonoscopy.
So you have to prepare, right? You have to get your body right, your mind right, get some sleep, and take this stuff, okay? It's the same thing here. You must prepare to do a mental cleanse and an emotional detox, all right? There's no one size fits all, right? This is why you sit alone, you process this, but you go through these steps. You write out the plan of action. Got it? So here we go. You need a pen and paper, first and foremost, because the whole point is getting some mental relief, right? So you need not to overload your brain, right? Trying to create this plan and remember what the plan is.
Let me open up a Word document because me and pen and paper don't really get along like that. Go ahead. I'm ready, though.
You know what? So this is me, right? When I do stuff like this, I have to write it out because I get more to the errors, right? Grammatical errors. That tells you on Word document, right? That your sentence structure is off.
Well,
so
my handwriting is bad, so that's
it
why.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, all right. You saying it? You saying it with a whole lot of extra, with a whole lot of extra D's and A's in that bag.
Oh my God! All right, so Dr. King says if you got your Word notepad open,
Right,
that's
I'm
good
ready.
too. All right,
I'm ready.
Other than that, get your pen and paper. Here we go.
Right.
Number one, right? Step one: create a list of the following. Right. So if you want to do a mental cleanse, you need to make a list of current stressors and distractions off the top. Right. Nothing you going into deep thought about. It's off the top of your head. What are your current stressors and distractions? It's a list, right? So no scenarios, no stories need to be written, right? It's a bullet pointed list, okay?
You have a call you want to hold or you want to what?
Yeah. Oh, okay. We good? Okay. Yeah. Felicia, you ready? Is it Felicia?
I believe it is. Yeah.
All right. Come on in, Felicia. We're going to pause for a second. We're pausing for our special guest.
We're going to hope and pray as her. The caller, you're there. She real happy, ain't she?
What?
She's still on the other subject.
What's happening?
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Well, I'm gonna state what the situation is, and then I'll
right of number 4.
The phone. So this is perfect because it seems like every time whatever I'm going through,
right
you always preaching about it the next week. So that's great. And so I actually did something that I've been meaning to do for a lot of years, and it was very hard, but I had to do it. So I'm newly married, over 2 years now, and I have a lot of family involvement. And so it's kind of, getting in the way of me being married. So I was like, okay, I got to get, this is my first ministry is being married, not everybody else's problem. And so I told my family, like, hey, I need time out. I got to, focus on some other things. I can't, because I noticed I was feeling some type of way every time, I talked to them about these situations. It was taking a lot of out of me, a lot of headaches, a lot of stuff was going on, and especially my mother. And me and Dr. Thomas have had a couple personal conversations about issues with my family. So anyway, my family understood, my children, my sisters or whatever. So I told my mother. So she showed up at my house a couple days later, unannounced. I was taking a bath in the shower, some whatever. I didn't hear. Then next thing I know, my family was calling me, and my husband was calling me and said, your mother said she about to call the police and because she need to check on you and make sure you okay. And I'm like, I told her Saturday that, this is Monday. I did the time out. Why is she doing all this? And so I said, well, let me call her to make sure that, she understood what I said. I said, Mom, I'm fine. Well, I was just concerned. You need to tell me what's going on because I'm going to send the police to your house. And I said, I'm okay. And so my husband was like, you need to tell her that you know to leave you alone. And this is very hard for me because this is my mother. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I just don't. I mean, I'm listening to the list. I already did the list prior to a week before. Like, okay, this is what I need to get as far as distractions is concerned. Because a lot of stuff that she brings on me, I feel like it's like a garbage dump. And a lot of times, my only release, I hate to say it, is when I'm on TTLO or when I'm talking to you or whatever, because a lot of times I'm listening to other people's problems and I want to help, and some things I just can't help with. And it's hard because I'm that type of person. So I don't know how to do this because it's a different type of relationship. My husband has a different relationship with his mother, so I don't think he can understand. Not that he's not sympathetic, but it's like, my mother lives in another state there. I said, but it's different because I'm very connected with my mother. But I know I need to. My mother's a really bad gossip, so it's kind of hard sometimes to take all that stuff in because it's doing something to me. So I kind of like need to separate myself. So just some techniques on how to, you know, do this when it's so personal. You know, it's know, being my mother.
Wow.
That's it. That's it. It's really, really heavy. It's really heavy.
How does your mom still do pop-ups?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, it's like I'm trying to tell her, like, look, this ain't. I was married before, and I let you all up in the business. I said, and I know what the mistakes I made in my first marriage. I'm not doing it in my second one because what me and my husband go through, that's between me and him. It's not open for discussion. And so she keeps pulling and prying and pulling and prying. I'm like, you need to go find something to do because I'm not going to let you in on what's going on. You know, it's not your business. And so she has a really hard time respecting boundaries. And I understand. I'm not saying it's right, but I understand. As far as your children are concerned, but I'm an adult. I'm 42 years old. I don't have to check in with you every day. And just because I'm not calling you does not mean something is wrong with me.
Right. What actually frustrates you the most to where you go to 10? Is there something that's done, you know, like it takes you immediately there, right? You don't even give thought to it.
Where we have a really, I mean, it'll take probably years, and I'm trying to get over that, of trauma and everything in our family. So I know the last conversation, it just made the pit of my stomach hurt, and that's when she was, and I keep telling her, you do the same thing every time. Like, you know, we've had trials in our life where we have to move back in with my mother, but we have to move back in with her. She treats us like strangers, and she gossips about us and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm hearing my sister complain on one end, I'm hearing my mother complain on one end, and I'm saying, like, well, this is what we should do, and this is what we should do, but nobody wants to do anything. So the last time I talked to her, that was like 2 weeks ago, she was talking to me, and I said, is somebody in the background? Like, you talking to me about my sister? And she was like, oh, yeah, that's my friend. I said, I'm very uncomfortable with you discussing this in front of somebody else. That's not cool. Oh, it's okay. And so after then, I was like, okay, I'm done.
Okay, so you ended the conversation?
I ended the conversation.
Okay, all right. Okay, so is there a time where your mom does respect your space and your request?
No. It's just, and I understand because I've seen it a lot of places. It's like you're always the key. I respect that in my children, but she doesn't respect that about us. I can verbally tell you, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And it's like she don't understand boundaries. Like my husband had to tell her one time, you just can't come to our house. You have to let us know that you're coming. And it made me feel some type of way because I'm like, oh, shoot, this is my husband. He's going to be mad. But it's like, he my husband. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's his house.
Okay.
And so she felt some type of way, and then my family was like, well, that ain't right. He shouldn't have said that. I'm like, well, you don't show up in nobody's house unannounced. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm. So what's been working for the past 2 weeks? Have you seen her? She come over lately?
Well, she came to that's what I told you in the beginning of the story. She came to my house. I was in the shower in the bathtub, and I thought about it because when I got out, I was in bathtub. My phone had like all these messages on it, and everybody's calling me. And then my daughter was like, "Mom, Grandma called us and was like, she worried about you. She finna call the police and see what's going on. She right outside your house." And I was like, should I open this door or should I go back to doing what I was doing? And I decided to not go to the door and make a phone call. And that's when I told her that I'm fine.
Okay. And she left?
She left.
Okay. All right. Okay. So obviously, you know, I appreciate you calling in. You know, you're the brave one. And this is hard, right? This is so hard when you have your mom, right, who is, I think that perception of, because I'm your mom, I could do what I want to do, right, no matter how old you are and whatever your status is in life. And it's like, how do you communicate without being disrespectful, right?
And that's what Kenny was like. Just my husband, that's his name, Kenny. He was like, just tell her to leave you alone. I was like, that's very hard. I try to, you know, how do you say, you try to finesse your words? I always finesse my words because I don't want to seem like I'm being disrespectful.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
But it's like she don't get it, even when I'm finessing.
Okay. So you have to find ways to decompress after doing this, right? Because it seems like this is not going to change.
No.
Right. So what? How? And we're talking about that tonight, right? How do you decompress, right? How do you get your moments of clearing your mind, right? Of having to protect your space and be on the lookout, you know, and speaking up for yourself and creating boundaries. I believe that there are just some people that we interact with. You're gonna always have to implement boundaries. Right. Yes. I think that's our reality, is there that some people are in our lives, right? And we choose to, you know, it is rightfully so that you stay connected to your mom, but also know that this may be something you have to do from here on out. As hard as it is, right? Until she makes the changes, right? Until she starts to get the picture and, you know, get the rhythm of how you're implementing your boundaries. It's like, how do you accept that you will always be implementing boundaries, right?
And that's what I'm kind of like, I mean, I hate to say it, I'm kind of fully prepared to, like, because my husband's like, "What you doing? Why you ain't tell her, you know, to stop?" I said, I need to decompress and step back so I can build up the strength to say it. And I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just very hard for me to say what it is. He's like, "Why you just gonna say what it is?" I was like, it's a different relationship. It's not like a stranger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then some people, you can tell them straight what it is, and you a doctor, read the psychology, what's going on, and they still want to go back and forth. She's one of those people, so it's like, what's the point?
So you have more success when you just end the interaction.
Yep.
Okay. Now, are you struggling with how to end it sometimes?
What you mean?
Like, do you feel like the interactions go too long sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. It's a ton of guilt, and it's like I'm fighting back and forth. And of course, I'm a Christian woman. It's like, you know, this is my mom. You know, you're supposed to long suffering and persevere, but it's like, okay, this is just wrong. And I won't say, okay, how can I say this? You know, if anybody else on the street, that'd be different. It's like, okay, get away from me, and I'll use a couple of choice words. That's easy, but it's different for her when she does the same thing a person on the street would do. It's like, I'm telling you, don't do this. And then her response is always, "That's me." Well, what you're doing is hurting people. You can't gossip about people. You can't put me down, put my children down. That hurts people.
Okay. So
and I actually feel bad for her because some people, you know, that's where the grace part comes in, because I know that you've never learned how to interact with family or people, period. And some people just don't know how to do that.
Right.
Even if it ain't working for them.
Yeah. Are you able to tell when your mom is about to take a conversation left or do something or say something that's going to be offensive? Like, do you know the signs that she's about to ramp up to that?
Well, that's the problem, Dr. Thomas. When you talk to somebody for so many years and you're always on edge when you talk to them, it's like somebody just hit me to that. When I talk to other people, you kind of check in with yourself and how you feel. Like when I talk to my best friend, I feel like driven and we finna do this and we finna do. Every time I talk to my mother, my head hurts. I'm always trying to guide the conversation. I'm trying to fix stuff that's like, oh, look at the dog outside. Look at this, because I don't want to go there. And then it still ends up being there. I'm always trying to, guide the conversation. It takes a lot.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I like this because we can use, what you're sharing here. What's one thing you want to be able to do when you're be very specific, right? Be very specific. What's one thing you want to be able to do when you're talking to your mom?
I want her to listen. I don't want to get emotional, but just be concerned about me. And I go in and out of that sometimes because it's like I'm not being sometimes I feel like I'm being selfish. Not saying that it's all about me, if that makes sense. Like when my kids is talking to me, they telling me about what's going on with them, and I'm present with that.
Okay.
I want her to be the same way. You know? Does that make sense?
It does, but I got to put the question back on you, right? So that's you're feeling this way, right? You gave a great description of what's happening in the interaction. So because that's the environment, right? That's the tone, that's the energy at that particular moment. What do you want to do differently, right? It could be something you want to feel different, think different, or say different, right? Because that's the setting, right? You just described the setting. One thing you want to do different in that setting you just described? So you may say,
like I'm confused.
So you may say, like you say you get headaches, right? You go into creating scripts, right? Like you create a narrative, right? So it's what because it's all about you. It's about your heart rate, right? It's about staying in the right frame of mind. So here's the thing, Felicia, and this takes practice, right? If you say one thing I'm going to work on when it comes to interacting with my mom, right, is making sure my heart rate stays regulated. That means while she's talking, you're taking deep breaths, right? You're going to a happy place. You're letting her go on and on and on and on and on. You're not even worried about a response to her. You're not worried about why she's talking and saying X, Y, Z. All you know is the goal is when I interact with my mom, I'm going to make sure my heart rate stays regulated. That means I'm paying attention to my body. That means if I feel my hands getting sweaty, I get fidgety, I'm getting agitated, right? I'm getting hot because my blood pressure is rising. I need to make sure that I take care of me and my heart rate. So that means that conversation may have to be put on pause for the sake of you addressing your heart rate, which is your physical symptoms, right? Because that shifts you from the distraction. Because mama is mama, right? You can predict, you can assume, you already know how she's coming to you. But you can change how your body responds in her presence. That just means you have to focus more on your body and less on the content that's coming out of her mouth.
That's good.
Okay.
Right? Because we can't have a plan of action of, hey, next time your mom say this, you should say that. No, you have full control over your body functions, right? When you're interacting with someone, if it becomes your priority. Does that make sense? You got to assess too.
Absolutely.
If you have a headache, right, and you feel like, okay, hold on, I'm not in a good space, been a long day, or whatever's happening, you have to be fair to self to say, okay, there's a door I can't open, right? And so right now, the interactions with my mom, they're a trigger. It makes my emotional stability decline. So I still have to go into action mode. What will I do when I have a headache? Right? You got to plan out what's the action plan when I have these symptoms, because your body is saying, I need you to take care of me.
Yeah.
Right? Let mama be mama and focus on taking care of you, because therein lies your boundaries. So if you know your heart rate is elevating, you're getting hot, you got to go relax, kick your feet up, you're more likely to tell mom, hey, now is not a good time. I need to go take care of me. I'm not feeling well. I will talk to you tomorrow. See how I kept that on I and me and not on a word that she said or something she's done?
Yeah.
Because I made me a priority to keep me safe.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. But can I, I'll say this and I'll let you get back to your show. I'm sorry. I appreciate
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just feel like me and my husband have a lot of big decisions we have to make in the coming months.
Okay.
And the way I work is, and it's just the way I work. Even when I was younger, when I have like major stuff that I have to focus on, I can be a multitasker, but not with that. It's like I have to let everything go until I get this stuff done, and then I'll get back to it. So right now, my mom, our situation is not the priority, and also I'm not strong enough to talk to her right now, and I never really trusted her with my information. I just don't.
Okay.
So I just feel like that I'm just gonna take a time out until I'm ready to address it, however long that takes.
I like that, but in the meantime, you got to get well.
Okay. Right.
So you got to heal. You have to start the healing journey to say, what do I need to forgive my mom for? What bothers me the most, right? That keeps, even if you're not talking to her, sometimes we remember things that were said and done.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So in this process of you distancing yourself for the sake of staying well, now you have to deal with self, right? So it's like when I resume, right, contact with my mom, I'm more ready, right? I'm positioned to be more emotionally sound, if that makes sense. So now it's just you taking yourself through. Yeah, that's on the back burner to be present, right, in the communication with her. But I still need to make sure I stay in recovery from the past.
Absolutely. Because I can put the hurt and not deal with it, but it's still gonna come up. Even when it's like if you're away from somebody, you still mad at them. When you see them again, you're gonna get mad all over again.
Right.
So I absolutely agree
Right.
with what you're saying. But right now, I guess it's basically about decompression, because it's like I need to focus on other things, and that's just consuming way too much.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Okay.
So I'll work through that process.
Okay.
You know, I have a therapist, so
yes,
to work through that, and then I'll revisit it.
You use that platform to lay it all out. Indeed.
Right. Cool.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in.
You're welcome.
All right.
No problem.
Yes, I like that. Have a good one. So that leads into that list, right? Making sure you identify what are your current stresses, what are your current distractions, right? Because a mental cleanse, you have to prepare, right? What's bothering me, right? And be in a quiet space, right? Till this comes, let me make sure I designate time to write out, type out, or however way you're doing it. What am I working with, right? What is bothering me? What are those lingering, unwanted thoughts, right? That are stuck with me. If you decide to do an emotional detox, we're still in step 1 here, right? Create that list, right, of current, stagnant, and lingering unwanted emotions. A list, right? And like I said, I love feeling words lists. So if you feel inadequate, hurt, right, degraded, destroyed, devastated, bitter, right, enraged, cut off, lonely, outcast, rejected, I need you to identify what are those lingering emotions, right, that continue to stifle you every day, okay? Because you're preparing to detox these very things out. All right. And so that's step 1 is to create that list. Okay. The next thing is you got to identify, right? Step 2 is identify a realistic time frame to implement the detox and the cleanse. Right. So in essence, you want to say for the next 4 days, for the next 7 days, or the next, 2 weeks, right? I don't typically go past 30 days because there's a check-in and accountability that goes into this. So you want to make sure that this is something where it's almost like trying things out to see what works, right? So realistic means let's do this gradually, right? Let's set a time frame so we're able to assess if what we're refraining from is working. Okay? Because when you cut off something in your life that causes stress, you have to have something that you're going to put in place of it, right? Or else you'll just be stuck in your thoughts, right? You're idle. Okay? So set up the time frame that you want to implement the cleanse and the detox. Okay? And this is where you begin to then identify what you will commit to doing and not doing during this time frame. All right? Does that make sense? You got to identify, right, what you will commit to doing and not doing during this time frame. Remember, this is action, right? Just like you prepare for a colonoscopy, right? You prepare for a detox. You prepare for a mental and an emotional detox here. And so this is where you explore people, places, and things. There has to be people, right, that you say, okay, right now, because I need a mental break, because I need to cleanse myself, right, of some interactions that cause me a cognitive distraction, meaning consuming thoughts, I need to stay away from some people. Right. And it's not to say, that person is, a burden, or, well, they may be, but, it's a relationship that you need to distance yourself from. Right. Places that you shouldn't go. Right. Things that you shouldn't do because they cause you. There's an interference. It's a major distraction in how you function. Okay. Keeps you mentally overwhelmed and emotionally exhausted. Be honest with yourself. This is between you and only you, right? How you all, have there ever been some things you all had to, at some point, people you had to stop talking to, or places you had to stop going? Yeah.
I would say, yeah. For me, and the first person to recognize it is my mom. She was, she knew how upset I was at an issue, and she was like, don't you go down this street no more. So for the longest time, I didn't go down Austin for the longest time and everything, because she knew, like, I'm about to pull over, and it's gonna be, and before it gets better, it's gonna get worse. Yeah. And everything. So and I have friends who know me who will say, if this should happen, walk away.
Yes.
Yeah. Because there is no middle. It's like, yes. There's always, like, she was at start and she got all the way over here. So it's just like, there is no middle. So it's just like, and I keep those words and everything else really in front of me,
right,
to make sure I never get off the deep end and everything, because I don't know what it is, and I don't want to be there, because right now I like being free.
Yeah.
So that's my assumption. Really? Like, I like being free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because in essence, when you are mentally overwhelmed, you do some things, right? Mm-hmm. That is a given, right? When you feel like you're all out, right? You just tapped out. Yeah, you do some things on impulse.
Yeah.
Right, on impulse. Yeah. So it's really that step where, you identify people, places, and things, right, that you will either dismiss yourself from or make sure you're engaged in, right? So if there are people, right, you want to stay away from, or places, right? It's like, if I'm not going to do this, right, then what am I going to do? Right. And that means you're tapping into doing things that uplift you. Right. So it's a counteraction that has to happen. There's this sense of peace. There's this sense of urgency where your soul, right, has to be relaxed in what it's doing. And that is the essence of going through a mental cleanse and an emotional detox, right? Is identify what within this time period, what you will commit to doing and not doing at this particular time. So I got some examples here where most commonly we've tapped into where things can get way out of hand, right? And sometimes it starts with what we do every day when we wake up in the morning. Okay. And so I have a couple of things here, some action steps to help us evolve, right? What we should commit to doing and not doing. Let's start with social media and technology, right? I think we talked about this way back when, we first started the show where you unfollow people, right? Who don't add anything positive to your life. And what do I mean by that? Some folk that you decided to become friends with on social media and follow, right? Just to keep up with drama, to keep up with the fight, right? To keep up with what they have to say next.
Season 8, episode 4 of their life.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It's some folk, right, that and this is serious in the sense of on all social media platforms, there is someone who is emotionally driven, right, in a negative way to going off, calling folk, just really going in distress over something they read because they've applied the writings of, or it could have been directed towards them, right, on the social media platform.
Well, for social media, it's the whole, the thugging, the keyboard thugging.
Yes. You say what you want to say behind the screen, right?
And I was just like reflecting. It was like several days ago. I was just reflecting. I was like, it was just so much simpler back in the day because, by the time the rumor mill got to you about so and so said and blah blah blah, and everything else, that situation is dead gone and and over with.
Right.
Now you have
it's immediate.
Now you have the subliminal message, the subliminal posts and everything else.
Yes.
And and Facebook
and comments.
Make comments. Yeah. And Facebook, and you think, and just when you think you blocked them, Facebook was up there like, we got one more way for them to find you. Like, even though they throw them in a new message spot and it's called spam, but it's like, and then they can just send you anything and then they can just become Facebook user. Okay, Facebook user who decided to send me a message and everything, like, and you're there and now you're gone. So it's just like, I was like, it was a time where it was much more simpler, like, where you just do the 3-way call and girl, don't breathe, don't say nothing, put yourself on mute and everything. And then, then you jump tough and everything. But that jumping tough didn't last long. Right. This one lasts long and it has ramifications because we got the computer, we got the phone, we got the screenshots, we got everything else. Absolutely. Back in the day, you just had a piece of paper. And after a while, if I forgot about the piece of paper, it got washed in the laundry, so now I don't have any evidence.
Very true.
And everything.
And that's where, I say I'll follow people, but for an emotional detox, you may need to come off social media in general, right? Unplug the entire social media platform for that specified amount of time. And that's easier said than done for a whole lot of people, right? And it's very powerful, and I've done it, right? And Dr. King has done it too, right? Come off of Facebook, right?
Just about almost a year.
Yeah. And it's something you have to understand, like that's that if I don't do this, right, this is what I'm going to do. So there's that replacement there, right? If you're going to unplug from social media, if you're going to start unfollowing people, right, what will you do to now uplift, right, that part of you where that was damaged? Does that make sense? So will you engage more in if you online reading blogs, right? Will you meditate? What are you actually going to do during the time that you used to spend, right, on social media? During the time that you used to spend stalking other people's pages, right? That you understand what I'm saying? Because you can turn into an investigator, right, on social media, and there you're spending hours and days, right, chasing somebody and getting emotionally overwhelmed. So it has to be where instead of, right, engaging in this behavior that impacts my mood and disrupts my daily function, I'm going to make sure I focus on this over here, right? So that's the action plan. Who are the positive people? What are the positive messages you were looking? What are the affirmations? What are the blogs? What are the books, right? What is the reading material, quote unquote, because social media is reading, right? What are you going to replace that with? Okay, so that is where this goes to, is whatever you're going to omit, right? What are you going to put in this place that is going to help you repair, purge, weed out, right? Just clear your mind and get rid of those unwanted emotions. Got it? Okay. And so then, right, another thing you want to do is clean out your phone. Right? There are some numbers in there. There are some text messages in there. There are some pictures up in there of people you don't want to talk to, right? And that you need not to ever contact again. But guess what? Because we're cluttered, right? We now unconsciously remind ourselves of these things that hurt us.
I should clear out the text message, but keep the phone number, because I don't want you. If I don't recognize the phone number, you happen to call me and I'm looking like, and I happen to pick it up by accident, and you're somebody I'm detoxing from, I don't want to pick it up and then I done let the devil back in. I'd rather that I blocked you and everything else like that, because it takes a whole lot of hell of an energy to go into the block setting to go see the message and everything. So you decided to go that way.
Yeah.
Let me see from A to C who I am blocked and see if I see their messages and everything. So
okay, and you know what I think? Yeah. So and I know we're talking about technology here, but also think about the urge, right? So to avoid you having the urge to call that person, right? I guess it depends on what's mostly there, right? You're concerned with that person calling you or you calling them, right? Because if it's on me, if I'm the one continuously reaching out, if I'm the one continuously trying to repair a toxic relationship, and not just intimate but a friendship, right? Even with distant family members, like if I'm the one, right? If I'm the identified one that's always reaching out, there's where I want to think about, why do I have this number up in here if I'm the only one always calling? Right. So you're right. It really depends on the position that you're in, right? To say how is this bothering me? Am I the trigger? Right. Am I triggering my own self? Right. To connect with this person that I identify as someone I just need to give it up. Right. I need to give up this. I'm forcing it, as they say. Right. I'm forcing this to happen. Right. So that's that assessment. Right. It's to really, are you the one, the initiator? That's of this communication. Felicia says, I worked a job where I had to delete my account for 1 year, ex-convict. I remember how great I felt after weeks of not looking at it. Absolutely. It's again, when we think about all those things we do for our body, liver detox, kidney detox, right? Colon, all these things we clear out, right? You feel so good. It is the same way with your mental and emotional wellness. It's the same. You have to prep and do it. You know what I'm saying? And you have to follow the regimen, right? You have to follow the regimen. So the first thing is, if you're going to omit something, then what will you do? It has to be a plan of action there. And so if you decide to clean out your phone, right? I don't know if you all have ever done this, but when I've deleted text message, and it was some stuff, I don't even know why I held on to it. Like going back to 2014, right? And that whole concept of deleting, you actually feel lifted.
I think too, when people decide to do a detox, the people that are around them, it's kind of like, if you're talking about, you're going to stop drinking or you're going to stop doing this or that. The people around you have to support you. right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if I'm saying I'm taking a break from something, then what you don't need to do is say, "Ooh, let me tell you what I saw today." Well, let me tell you what I saw on social media today.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? I saw this on social media today. Because if I'm at a point where I don't need to know, right?
Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah.
like, and everybody takes their breaks and their detoxes for their own reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like if I'm just saying, you know what, I don't want to get caught up in I don't need to be a part of every political argument. I don't need to be a part of every media argument. I don't need to be a part of. I don't need all these extra text messages and Facebook messages going on. So let me stay with that. Then the people around you need to respect that as well, and not feed you. Okay. Like, okay, hey, I know you ain't on, but let me tell you what I saw. I know you ain't on, but let me tell you what I saw. Because I don't think they're doing it intentionally.
Right.
But they need to respect. They need to respect their what it is you're attempting to do.
And I think also goes with that is once you tell that person, right, what you're doing, you should end that conversation as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a part of cleansing and detoxing is staying in your space, right? And so it's almost like they crack the door open, right? You say, okay, you know what? I'm actually doing this for myself right now. I'll talk to you later, right? It has to be where you wrap it up, because guess what's unknown? If they're going to continue to tell you what happened on social, you understand what it's like. Sometimes people don't respect your boundaries at that moment, right? And it's like you have to be prepared to dismiss yourself, right? I let me just talk about me. I can't afford to keep having a conversation once you give me a glimpse of where it was going, right? Because I've had people that I've shared, okay, this is what I'm doing right now, right? I'm doing this, and this, and they came with a different script. You understand? They went into something else, right? And it was like, okay, really? So the whole point was removing negativity. The whole point was keeping my space clear. So I've just learned, like, once you give me, and if I'm in this particular process and you open that door to tell me where, is that the reason why you called me? Then I end it. Does that make sense? Because now I have to discern people, places, and things that in the future may put me back in this space of needing to be cleansed and detoxed. Right? So it's really like, why is this the only reason you called me? Right. Because if it is, we can end it right now. Right. Does that make sense? Because absolutely. You really didn't call and ask me to concern with how I'm doing, right? It was to, share what you heard and saw and get a reaction out of me. Exactly. And if you know that I'm trying to take this detox, it's you trying to see if I'm actually taking a detox. Right. You tested me, like, right? Let me tell you what I saw today. So you could be like, you know what? I saw that too. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right. It's like, no, don't, it's like if I'm trying to get off the bottle, don't show up with the bottle. Yes. And that's where you be clear with keeping your space safe during a mental detox, right? A mental cleanse and an emotional detox, right? You have to keep your space. There are no exceptions, right? There are no exceptions, right? Because then it's contaminated, right? It's contaminated. Think about what you have to do to detox the organs of your body, right? You can't clean out your colon and then eat fried chicken. No, not the same day. No. You know what I'm saying? Don't eat it the same. You messed it up. Right. That doctor, like, what you do? Right. Give it. You got to. Right. Gradually. What you do is the same here. Protect your space while you do. Take it serious. Take it just as serious. Felicia says, I had to learn to use the one finger instead of just in church. Absolutely. And she says, I'm actually hoping that my decision will cause her to look within. It's not about me. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while for people to see you be consistent with how you vibe, right? Some people need to see you live in it for a prolonged period of time before they say, oh, she's serious.
Yeah, because they waiting on you,
know
to
what I'm
fall off
saying? For real.
because you have fallen off.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
real.
and then
Yeah.
there's so many rules to this. Like there have been people that have fallen off, and you want people to be there, like to see them through it. Like I know a friend, she blocked someone, and I was like, okay, cool, blah blah blah. She went into the block area to see that they had message and everything, and I was like, whatever you do, it's fine with me. Like I was like, because I understand. I understand it. Like I said, whatever you do will be okay, because you can't play me for the side. Not saying that they're playing me. You can't have me to be support them, and then be like I look unsupportive, like when they like oh girl blah blah blah. So I'm like it's like this world has you messed up. You don't know what side of the fence to be on. Like how come you can't be stronger? No, because I've been there, done that, and everything. Yeah. So like if you went into the block messages and everything, and you saw what they wrote, and and you make contact with them, I am on your side totally 100% until you decide you want to go 100% no contact. Yeah. And and completely erase them from your life. Yes. So I'm just trying to I'm trying to be there. And then a lot of people, like when you say like when I say like they went into the text message, you can't get a generic form like I want to break from social media, but then let me go get the generic form of the non-social media. It's still social media at the same time. They both social media and everything. So like if you're gonna cleanse or you're gonna be clear, it's best to make sure everything is off. Yes. Like you don't go pick up Twitch. Or like you don't go pick up Twitch because you off Facebook. You don't go pick up.
Did you really say Twitch?
Yeah, that is Twitch.
No, I'm just saying.
Like you don't go hey, I'm gonna go to OnlyFans now. Okay, so now you're gonna pay for it. Okay, so
OnlyFans. Okay, you didn't say some stuff.
Yeah, you don't want parts of OnlyFans. Okay. I mean, it has this good and it has this good and this bad. It's like the back door to Facebook. Got it. Okay. But like you don't pick up the next one like okay, well so
substitute it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where for me these two concepts take a commitment, right? There has to be a commitment to this to say I'm not doing this, right? And you're absolutely right. It's not something where you find an alternative because the stimulation is still there. The goal is to get the brain to relax, right? And cleanse and clear out. But if you're constantly giving yourself a reminder of, right, where you just come from, it's still a trigger, right? It still can be a cue. Even with the blocking.
Like, what's it for, like, for those who do, is it crack or something? What, they get on methadone to ease
heroin.
them, heroin, then to ease them off, like, really? No. Yeah. like, so this the ease off path.
And they're on there for years.
Yeah.
Right?
But then they say, but they end up liking the methadone.
Yes.
It's just exchanging one drug for another.
Yes, exactly. So you're so right, and it's like you go to Instagram, you're not. That is true.
She said you're not detoxing. It's like a drug addict replacing it with drinking.
Yeah. And that's where this is it's so powerful, but I think that we underestimate the commitment it takes to plan and execute it. Mm-hmm. Right? Because for me with blocking, for me, if you block someone, that's a sign to yourself to make a decision whether this person stays or goes in your life. Does that mean like because blocking is serious, and I never knew how serious it was, of course, until it was brought into the clinical field, right? And so really understanding, like when I hear someone say, I blocked the person, that's a serious emotional decision for a person. But it also positions them to say, when I'm ready to invite them back in my life, then I'm just gonna unblock them, right? But they do this cycle, and it takes its toll on them, right? And it's so deep because I think back in the day we didn't have a blocking feature. It was just don't call me no more.
Well, yes, we did because we had what was it? It was some feature on the phone, star something,
star 6 7.
Yeah, you can, or you can put star something in to block phone numbers from calling you. Yeah. So we did. So it started off that way with blocking started off that way. I would like to say that it's not something that just came out of nowhere and everything else like that. And like I said, sometimes social media, even if you have blocked people and everything else like that, I don't know if it's an algorithm. I don't know if Facebook decides, hey, I just still want to be petty. They have now unleashed the people that not to say they unblocked them for you. They put them in a category to remind you, like, hey, you do remember this person. Thanks, Facebook, but didn't I ask you? And you go in there and you see that they're blocked. You're why are you giving me remembrance of them?
But now listen,
she said remembrance.
This is where this emotional cleanse comes in, because you're right in the sense of you can find anybody you want at any point in time. You can pay for it, actually, right? But I think it gets to dealing with the self, right? If I'm blocking someone because I don't want to see them, right? Again, not necessarily there for them to continue to contact me. Mm-hmm. I got to deal with self, right? So if I block them because I was tired of them, right? If I block them because, they're emotionally overwhelming me, or they're getting on my nerves, or, I'm feeling some type of way towards them. When I block them, I actually need to address myself, right? Because again, you're right. If I decide to keep them in my life, right, meaning I could go back and unblock them, I still need to be prepared for the interaction that caused me this emotional stress in the first place. But if I'm not going to do anything about myself in the midst of my blocking time, because we can say that's detoxing too, if we say we're blocking someone, then what was the point of blocking them if you want to go get yourself together when you let them come back in your life? Sometimes it's for a moment. Sometimes they're for longer. For real, yes, yes.
Sometimes they are for longer. Sometimes it's for before you even decide to start, you can't even go nowhere and everything. But it's our version of. Has anybody ever thought about blocking is our way of avoidance?
Yes, with no work though.
Right. So we giving it okay. We giving the okay to blocking, but you are literally passive aggressive.
Yes, and sometimes people don't even know they're blocked.
Not until word get out.
Right, but you know what I'm saying? Even with phones, unless I call you, I won't know that you blocked me, right? Unless I text you, I won't know you blocked me.
Unless you don't get a response.
Correct. You understand what I'm saying? So it really it's here, right? So when a person is in their thoughts about I blocked you and I feel like now I threw a jab at you, and that person don't even know that they're blocked until months later, and you over here in mental anguish, right? You're waiting for them to find out that they blocked you.
Sometimes you're not waiting. Sometimes you're okay with it.
Well, no, I'm saying the distressed person is waiting on that person to find out that they're blocked. And guess what? This is the backlash to this, right? Blocking someone with the intention of it being used as a weapon is counterproductive to an emotional detox.
That's good.
Right? Because you blocked them to send a message of, now take that. It wasn't, okay, let me get myself together because I was about to catch a case and I was about to show up, and let me get myself together, right? Typically, that's not what we do when we block somebody. Right, so that's that. It's
about half and half. I beg to differ. It's about because they come and
that's a personal thing, right?
Yeah,
because you got to be real with self. If you're saying I need a minute to get myself together, right? You got to keep it real with yourself, right? And that's why this plan has to be specific. That is intentionally focused on you clearing your mind and getting your emotions together. It can't even have a smidget.
Well, I was still beg to differ. Before I spend $35 to change my whole entire number,
What?
how about you get this nice block ministry? It's free.
You know what?
It don't kill nobody, and I still keep all of my memberships and rewards value
you know
by
what?
blocking you.
I think maybe it's me, but I think when I've like got at odds with someone and we disconnected. Like I guess I really haven't experienced where I've had a year, a month, weeks later, you call and say, "Hey, what you doing?" Right? You know what I'm saying? Maybe that I'm not sure if that's what you're saying. Like, okay, the whole purpose, if you delete this person's phone number, and a month later they contact you, well, what context would it be in? Are we talking about a person who says
Some people come back for the fight, just to see if there's meat on them. Like, I still got you. They come.
Is that the message?
Yeah,
Though?
yeah.
Sometimes
They come.
Sometimes the block is more about you too. Like, it's, you know what, I'm gonna block you because I don't want to feel like I want to call and cuss you out either.
Correct. That's right. That's what this is, right?
So,
yes.
so I know whether you thinking about me, I'm still thinking about cussing you out.
Correct.
So that I ain't constantly looking to see what you done said next.
Right.
Right.
Because it's a trigger.
Right. Because it's a trigger. Your name popping up is a trigger. Your face popping up is a trigger. So to help you and me, I'm gonna just block you.
Right.
And to save me some money.
Well, there. You talking about turning your phone number around? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But as far as social media goes,
I'm talking about bail.
Oh, well, that too.
Yeah.
So it's the intention, right?
Yeah.
The intention for the detox has to be it works for your good, right? You can't have the other person in mind, right? Because that would worry me if I have to worry about the future of you calling me, right? So it's a decision you're making at this point right now for X amount of time. I am not going to interact with this person. Here are the measures that I'm taking to ensure, right, that I don't. Right? That I don't. Because what is out of my control, if they know where I live, they send me a letter. What's out of my control, they send me some flowers at the job. What's out of my control, right, is them still getting to me some kind of way. But because I'm in this detox, because I'm in this cleanse, I need to know what I'm going to do with myself if a trigger comes about. Does that make sense? Because we can go wild, right, with the what ifs. That person, and the point of a cleanse is to not focus anywhere, right, close to what that person can do while I'm over here trying to recover and get myself together.
All right.
Right. So for me, it's like you have to make sure you're doing things to prevent you. Right? You from being exposed to the elements so that you won't take the action of, right, calling. You won't take the action of posting, right, unwanted posts. You won't take the actions of reading old text messages. It's for you, right? Because now you do have to be prepared for the future of, well, I can't cut myself off from the entire world, but guess what? I'm going to be ready. Right, I'm going to be ready. So that's that distinguishing thing here is to make sure you do it for you, right? So clearing out, whatever you need to with the phone, because you got to think about recurring emotions and recurring thoughts, right? We want it to stop. I want to stop getting angry. I want to stop being frustrated, right? I want to stop, having these sleepless nights, right? Which means that I have to make sure I don't keep exposing
90
myself
seconds.
to the elements. Okay, so that's one, right? And also goes extent to here to unsubscribing from unnecessary emails, right? Anything that reminds you or puts you in a bad place. I know I've done that recently, to unsubscribe, right, to things that really, overwhelm my attention, right? Because now my emails are jammed and cluttered. This is a start, right? Start with decluttering. right? Let's let go of some of these things that grab our
60
attention and
seconds.
keep our attention, right? And last but not least, right? Remember to activate the plan, right? The reason why we wrote this out, the reason why we said for the next amount of time, I will do this, but not that, right? I will not do this. Instead, I will do this. Is to activate it. Activate the plan. Okay? Make sure you are checking in with self. How did you do today? Right? Ask yourself that. How did you do today? You know, with keeping up with your plan. How do you feel? Today was a good day because I noticed I didn't. Right? Today was a good day because I stuck with, right, not going on social media. Today was a good day because I actually cleaned my
10
phone out.
seconds.
Right? This is a part of, remember, it's a cleanse, right? You cleanse your body. That means you get rid of some stuff. So designate the time. If you say, I'm going to spend a week cleaning out anything that reminds me of anything from my past and that sparks unwanted emotions, set aside time every day to do just that. Right? The time frame, you're dedicated, right? You got to reset your mind. You got to restore your spirit. The only way you do this is following through on your plan of action. Got it? So this is where this is, right? If you're going to do a cleanse, prepare for your cleanse. What exactly am I working with, right? What's bothering me? What am I trying not, right? What door am I not walking through, right? For the emotional detox, right? Again, what emotions do you need to get rid of, right? People, places, and things. And so write this out, stick to it, and at the end, assess how you did, right? And if you're struggling to find a method that works for you, because you know I got to go here, connect with an amazing therapist. Someone you can walk through to say, okay, this week I want to work on this. Okay, we check back in next week. How did you do? You sometimes you need an accountability partner, right? And so don't look at this as so counseling is for your spiritual, emotional, mental needs, right? And a part of that is finding someone to walk alongside of you to help you cleanse and get restored. So find an amazing therapist, right, that will help walk alongside of you for you to achieve, right, this balance that you need in life. Got it? Okay. Take control of your mental health for your whole health. Okay. So there it is, right? Think about those two terms: an emotional detox and a mental cleanse. Do you need one? If you say yes, plan it out and execute it. All right? All right, y'all. Then, of course, you have any questions, right? I'm all for, open discussion if you want to, I'll even, talk with you, right, to help you find an amazing therapist. Or if you want to just, call the office and just, do a consultation, I'm open for that as well, because obviously I believe in holistic wellness, and that includes your mental and your emotional stability. Your mental and emotional stability. And it's well worth the effort to achieve mental clarity and stability in your day-to-day life. All right. So we got one more week, right, of focusing on the self, right? The series of It's All About Self. And so we're going to close it out real strong. All we doing, and we're just going to speak positivity. All right. So we're bringing in positive affirmations. We're bringing in positive thoughts. We're bringing in nothing but positive. We're going to saturate the atmosphere. All right. Saturate the atmosphere with what it looks like to counteract negative thinking, right? And negative self-talk. Got it?
Got it.
Got it. All right. Y'all go home and check out them turkeys.
Really? Really?
All right, y'all. Have a good